There are a plethora of early access games out these days. But what exactly are early access games, and how do you choose? Hi there, it's the Dove to give you 6 early access games that might just be up your alley. Early access games are generally unfinished in-development titles that studios open up for the public to buy. Most of the time, early access games are made by small developers who might need a financial kick to finish production, studios who need to flesh out some game mechanics, or just to get a positive word-of-mouth campaign started before full launch. Players generally get to buy the game at a cheaper price while in early access, and then get a full version of the game when it comes out. But a quick disclaimer here, once in a while these developers don't finish the game. Either they fold, get bought out, or are just a pyramid scheme. So invest in early access games with some caution. So let's get started. Palworld seemed to come out of nowhere in early 2024, but after it made a massive shockwave across the gaming world, many were wondering how a game like this hasn't been made before. It takes inspiration from a bunch of different games, but it is clear to see the comparisons to Pokemon. While collecting creatures is part of the game, it really focuses more on the survival aspect of things. The multiplayer open world game seems like a no-brainer on the outside, and an absolute time trap. Pokemon with guns, farming, building, managing production, breeding, and exploration, all while trying to survive and keep your creatures fed, alive, and happy. Over 250,000 positive reviews on Steam have this title as one of the most popular to date in the world, and it still is in early access. There are some grumblings of the world feeling a bit hollow after a while, with no main purpose or drive to tie it all together, but let's remember with all of these, it's early access. There is no release date in sight currently, but a major update dropped in late June of 2024, and with some news about the game coming to PlayStation soon, there is some speculation that the full release could be around the corner. Palworld currently is available on Steam and Xbox. Bodycam is an ultra-realistic multiplayer first-person shooter that is trying to use Unreal Engine 5 to its absolute max. Just looking at this game, you can see how incredibly real everything looks. From the assortment of high-tech weapons to the multiple levels, you can see the whole gamut of graphical brilliance the developers can offer. The game offers just a few game modes in early access, including a 10-person deathmatch, 5-on-5 team matches, competitive body bomb mode, which is also 5-on-5, and more modes to be released at launch. There are a couple different Bodycam style games coming out in the near future. Bodycam will look to be the multiplayer version in this genre. That is the biggest drawback to me. While I enjoy a good online first-person shooter, a single-player campaign would be very interesting in this form. Unfortunately for Bodycam, players may agree with me, as interest is down from 16,000 concurrent players at launch to about 2,000 less than a month later. It is hard to say for sure how big this game could get at full launch with a bigger level pool and more game modes added. As of right now, there is no word on the full release date. Bodycam is available right now on Steam. The sequel to Supergiant Games' 2020 smash hit is now in early access. Hades 2 is a roguelite isometric action RPG that is trying to be bigger and a bit deeper than the original. The response has been very positive on Steam, with over 40,000 reviews in favor of the sequel. You play as Melinoe, sister to Zagreus, who is the main protagonist from the first installment. Melinoe has a different skill set and attacks, so veterans of the series will have to learn new approaches against enemies. The voice acting and art are just as well done as the first, and although the game is still in early access, you can play through beginning to end. Yes, you can complete the entire run in this early access affair. However, the actual ending scene is absent. There are still characters missing, along with some weapons and magic that will clearly be added to the full game. Parts of the story are absent as well, so those looking for the full experience will have to play through after full release. However, there is still a lot there that gamers can enjoy. If you are looking for that roguelite dungeon crawling challenge and just missed the original, this will be a good holdover until 2025, which is the planned full release for Hades 2. Early access for Hades 2 is available on Steam and the Epic Games Store. If you've watched this channel for a while, you might know I have chronicled my journey through Undisputed in early access. This was my first tour through an early access game, and it definitely had its bumps along the way. Since I've already covered it extensively, I won't take too much time on it here, but this is a must for any old Fight Night fans. The game excels graphically and the controls are almost identical to the old EA series, but the roster is definitely a bit thin. It is difficult to get all the rights and permissions needed for every boxer out there, but there are some glaring deficits in the Hall of Famer category. While they do have Sugar Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Rocky Marciano, Joe Louis, they are missing the likes of Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, Jack Dempsey, Jack Johnson, and the Marvelous One, just to name a few. But players do have the ability to create their own boxers, so not all is lost. If you have the same need as I did to make Eric Butterbean Esch, then you have that option. The custom creator still needs a bit more work with variety of stance and fight styles, but there is still a lot to work with. Career mode is also available in early access. That was the reason I started playing in the first place, and I gotta say that long wait was worth the price of admission. Still a few mechanics to flush out there, but a lot of fun to be had in career mode. Overall, this game is amazing where it matters. In the ring, the fighting is fun, it's realistic, it's a solid simulation boxing game. Undisputed by Steel City Interactive is available on Steam right now for $50 and will be available on PC, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series at full launch on October 11th, 2024. The more research that I did on Manor Lords, the more I wanted to play this title. Part city builder, part management simulator, part survival, part real-time strategy, the mix this game provides is astounding. You play in medieval Europe with all the era's buildings, technology, and characters to match. You attempt to build a city, establish supply chains and trade routes, manage various aspects of your town's growth, all the while defending it against the many threats. Based on the description, it may just sound like another turn-based city builder, but there is way more depth currently in and coming to Manor Lords. Solo developer Slavic Magic promises more maps, finer tuning throughout the game, more refined AI cities, and naval and cavalry battles. That goes along with an already detailed and gorgeous looking game. Few city builders can match the attention to detail and just the overall quality of graphics that Manor Lords features. The game is about thriving and growing your city. With all the mix, it is a true city builder at heart. Assign townspeople to take care of jobs, build the city the way you want, manage your economy, the best nitty-gritty aspects of a good city builder. The developers have said that the tactical aspect is not the focus of Manor Lords. While it may not be the focus, it definitely is part of the game, as you will have to deal with raiders who will attack your town if you don't clear out their bases. It is early access, so there are plenty of buildings and features still blocked out. There is still more work to be done with the AI, and the diplomacy mechanic of the game appears to be very bare bones at the moment. There is no word on the full release date as of yet, but Manor Lords Early Access is available on Steam, GOG, and PC Game Pass. Lastly, we have Fallen Aces, which is a first-person action beat-em-up shooter that has a beautiful noir twist. The art speaks for itself. It is comic book inspired from head to toe, and with the time period falling in the 1940s, that concept hits perfectly. The music also fits right in. Any fans of the Fallout series soundtrack will love Fallen Aces music. When the game is complete, Fallen Aces will be split into 3 episodes, with each episode having about a dozen levels to play through. The levels are a mix between beat 'em up and first-person shooter. You punch, shoot, and throw your way out of most situations, but early on in the game has you more focused on the hand-to-hand style fighting, with a lot of pipes, bats, and boards with nails to give you an edge against the enemy. but you can honestly throw nearly anything you can see at the enemy. While the game is level-based and will be released episodically, each level is open to explore and there are multiple approaches to take. When Hitman 2016 came out as an episodic game, I was not happy. But after playing one level for hours to discover all the different ways I can finish a level, it opened my eyes to how deep and open Hitman really was. I see a lot of that with Fallen Aces. There are so many alleys or different buildings and storefronts to go into, approaches to take. You could replay this game multiple times and have different experiences every single one. I had to try this one out, and it is a lot of fun. The story is rich, the atmosphere is immersive, the music is spot on, and I can't wait to see where the story goes. I had a bit of an issue with the sensitivity of the controls. I use a controller and the game only has adjustments at the moment for keyboard and mouse setups. If you're having the same trouble, just change the field of view to a higher number than 90, and it should help a tremendous amount. Developers Trey Powell and Jason Bond plan to listen to player feedback between episode releases. They also will increase the price of the game as more episodes are released. It is under $13 as of this video, so if you're interested, this may be the time to save some dough. Early access for Fallen Aces is available on Steam. If there's an early access game that you've really enjoyed, let's talk about it in the comments section below. Folks, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you'd like more content like this. For even more content, go to twohatsandabeard.com or check out our YouTube page. Until next time, this is the Dove.
Get him! Welcome to Switchblade City, tough guy. Nice. Needed some booze money.